On July 28th, 2025, a man went for a walk in the Nevada desert, just outside a small town called Searchlight, about 1 hour south of Las Vegas. It was a normal day, a normal walk, until he looked down at the ground beneath his feet and stopped breathing. Scattered across the desert floor in front of him were hundreds of piles, each one containing bone fragments, pulverized remains, the ashes of real human beings, just dumped in the middle of nowhere, like garbage. He immediately called the authorities, and what investigators found over the next few months would become one of the most disturbing and unexplained mysteries of 2025. This is the story of 315 human beings who were thrown away in the Nevada desert, and the people responsible have still not been found. This is Grimhalo Files. Let us go back to that day, July 28th, 2025. The Nevada desert outside Searchlight is not a place most people visit. It is remote, desolate, dry, cracked ground, stretching for miles in every direction. The kind of place where you can walk for hours without seeing another soul. The man who found the remains has chosen to stay anonymous. And, honestly, after what he saw, that makes complete sense. He was walking near a dirt road when he first noticed something unusual on the ground. At first, he thought it was trash. People sometimes dump garbage illegally in remote desert areas, but as he got closer, he realized something was very wrong. These were not bags of trash. Each pile was carefully placed, separate from the others, and each one contained what appeared to be human bone fragments. Ash, the pulverized remains of a cremated person. He found one pile, then another, then another. He kept walking and kept finding more. Spread across a wide stretch of desert land, he immediately called the authorities, and within days, the U.S. Bureau of Land Management confirmed the terrifying truth. These were human cremains, real people, dumped in the Nevada desert, and there were hundreds of them. By August 2025, the Bureau of Land Management officially launched a full investigation, and what they found at the site made the case even more disturbing. Mixed in with the ashes were zip ties, the kind that crematories use to seal bags of human remains. Pieces of a broken urn were also found scattered across the ground. This was not random. This was not an accident. Someone had taken bags of cremated human remains, sealed with zip ties from a funeral home, and deliberately driven out to this remote desert location, and dumped them, one by one, 315 times. Investigators immediately suspected a commercial funeral home business was responsible. But here is where the story gets even more disturbing. A second dump site was discovered nearby. Even more remains. Beyond the original 315 piles, someone had been coming here multiple times, dumping people in the desert, and nobody knew. For what could have been months, or even years. The question everyone wanted answered was simple. Who did this? And why? Multiple sources confirmed the remains were likely connected to a commercial funeral home business, a business that had recently been shut down. When investigators contacted representatives of that business, they received a flat denial. They knew nothing about it. They had nothing to do with it. As of today, the investigation is still active. No suspects have been officially named. No charges have been filed. 315 people were thrown away in a desert, and the person, or persons, responsible are still out there, walking free, living their lives as if nothing happened. But let us step back for a moment and think about what this really means. Each one of those 315 piles was a real person, someone who lived in Nevada, someone who had a family, friends, a life, a story. When they died, their family trusted a funeral home to take care of them, to treat their remains with dignity, with respect. That trust was completely betrayed. In October 2025, a local funeral home called Palm Mortuaries stepped in. Their team went out to that desert and carefully collected each pile, placing every single set of remains into an individual bag, and then into an individual urn, treating each person with the dignity they deserved. Of the 315 people, only 3 have been officially identified. 3 out of 315. The rest remain unknown. Their families may never know what happened to their loved ones. Think about that for a moment. Someone out there is wondering where their mother is, where their father is, where their child is, and the answer is a dirt patch in the Nevada desert. And this brings us to the bigger question that nobody is really talking about. How common is this? Because here is the disturbing reality. This was only discovered because one man happened to be walking in a remote desert on one specific morning. If he had chosen a different route that day, those 315 people would still be out there, unidentified, forgotten. And here is what keeps investigators up at night. If one funeral home did this in Nevada, how many others have done the same thing elsewhere? How many remote deserts, forests, and fields across America contain the undiscovered remains of people whose families think they were properly laid to rest? As of March 2026, this case remains officially unsolved. No arrests, no charges, no answers. 315 people are still waiting for justice, and their families are still waiting for the truth. The Nevada desert is quiet again now. The remains have been collected. The investigation continues. But 315 families may never get the answers they deserve. And the person responsible is still out there. This is one of those cases that reminds us that sometimes the most disturbing mysteries are not about ghosts or government cover-ups. Sometimes they are about the darkest parts of human nature, about what people are capable of doing when they think nobody is watching. In the middle of nowhere, in the Nevada desert, where they thought the truth would never be found. This has been Grimhalo Files. If this story disturbed you as much as it disturbed me, please subscribe for more real, unexplained cases. And drop your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think should happen to the people responsible? See you in the next file.